Hey folks, Roger Gonzalez here with LocalTheatreNY.tv. I'm happy to have Tom Viertel here. He's the executive director?
Yeah.
Executive director of the Commercial Theater Institute. And before I ask you any questions, I have to thank you. I learn so very much from going to the CTI workshops and the CTI presentations. They're incredible. You meet the most amazing people. How long, Tom, have you been doing the Commercial Theater Institute workshops and been involved?
I've been involved for 8 years. I've been running it for 8 years. It's in its 39th year this year.
Amazing.
It's the official organization that teaches how to produce on Broadway.
And it is done in such a way that's so beneficial in so many levels, on so many levels. You know, you not only get to hear from the folks who are creating Broadway theater and off-Broadway theater, but you also get to meet them and chat with them,
Yep.
and it's not even expensive. So I can't thank you enough because it really has done a lot for my understanding of theater.
Well, you're very welcome. It's been an exciting thing for me to do. I've really enjoyed the experience of meeting people many of whom I know will go on to do great things. Last year, for example, we had 57 graduates of CTI who were nominated for Tony Awards.
57?
57 of them. Now, there's a lot of people. It takes a lot of people to produce a show these days. If you look at the names that are above the title on the title
But the
page.
connection to CTI.
But 57 people who were nominated. It's a remarkable thing.
It is.
And we give an award every year for the outstanding graduates who have gone on to produce, and they are the elite of Broadway these days. I mean, not everybody gets to that level, but the people who do credit CTI with a lot of how they felt the confidence to go on and do what they do.
And for those that love theater, it's such an interesting inside look, if you will, a backstage look at what goes on, because I think we have an illusion of what a Broadway producer's life is or how a show gets on Broadway, and it's really nothing like what we perceive it to be. How long does it take, and roughly how many millions of dollars does it take to get a show on Broadway?
Well, it'll take you $4 to $4.5 million to get a typical play on Broadway. And anywhere from as little as 8 or 9 million to as much as 20 million to get a musical on. So they're big numbers, and you really need to know what you're doing. The saving grace is you've got a lot of really great professionals that you can rely on to manage and advise you about the show. So a range of people can be producers. You don't have to know every last thing about everything in the theater, but you do need to have been exposed to enough of it so that when issues come up, you can have an informed opinion that you can discuss with your advisors and managers. And that's what CTI can give you. It's a remarkable place to learn specifically this. Listen, a bunch of people who come into our early career courses don't even know what a producer does.
That's right.
And I think a lot of people don't have any idea what a producer does. They've heard the term, but they don't know. And so this gives you, over a period of courses, the confidence to not only know what you're supposed to be doing, but have some thoughts about, how to do it.
And apply it to off-Broadway, off-Broadway, touring shows. I mean, there's a lot of knowledge in there. Right now, I know that the 14-week course is about to begin. I know it's closed. But tell us a little bit about that for the folks who might be interested for next year.
Sure. Well, we have sort of 3 levels of main courses and then a bunch of stuff that sort of fills in cracks. The 14-week courses are sort of college-level course, if you will. It's 14 Monday nights, 3 hours each Monday, each one diving into typically 2 topics in pretty serious depth. They're taught by working professionals, so theatrical lawyers come and teach you about how you make an agreement with an author, how you make papers that allow you to raise money, how you attract people who will help you raise money, that sort of stuff. We go through budgets with general managers, we go through advertising plans with major advertising agencies, we talk to a significant press agent. We talk about dynamic ticket pricing, which is a pretty sophisticated
Right.
subject. And then we have producers who come and talk to us, and they're pretty significant. Producer of Wicked, the producer of Rent, people like that come and give us their wisdom, and there's lots of time for questions and answers. That course is limited to 27 people, so people apply for it, and we choose a class every year. Our high school level course, if you will, I don't mean that it's for high school kids,
I
but
get
it's
you.
the
Right.
sort of preliminary course, is a 3-day intensive. That's coming up March 6th to 8th.
That's right.
That's unlimited enrollment. It's an introduction to many of the courses many of the subjects that we cover in more depth at the 14-week, but it also has some other stuff that we talk about. We talk about diversity in theater, diversity and inclusion. We talk about how you find investors. We talk about how to pick a project, topics like that. Then we have sort of a graduate level course at the Eugene O'Neill Theater Center
That's a
up
summer
in
one.
Waterford, Connecticut. O'Neill operates all year round, but this
Right.
takes place in the middle of the summer. And that's, of course, specifically in creative producing and the ways that producers can impact what's actually on stage.
That's remarkable.
And how the audience thinks about what's on stage. So it's specific to those two topics. That's a great course because you're there with a couple of hundred artists who are developing new shows at the O'Neill at that time. So you get to meet them and talk to them, not only in classroom settings, but also we have a pub at the O'Neill, and that's another good place to have maybe a little bit more hair-down conversation about theater. And then there are all these one-off courses that take a half day or a day that teach about specific subjects as well. You mentioned the pricing, and we do keep prices down. This CTI is a joint venture of the Broadway League,
That's
which
right.
is the organization that represents Broadway to the world, and TDF, the not-for-profit that's part of its mission is to support commercial Broadway. They own and operate the TKTS booth,
Sure.
for example. So it's their intention to draw in as many people from as many walks of life as we can into CTI. So we deliberately keep tuitions down. We have a number of sponsors who contribute to help keep tuitions down to a pretty acceptable level.
It's really a wonderful thing. I congratulate you and I thank you for all the great work that you're doing. Very important to this country and the culture of America, and you're making an incredible contribution to that, as is the Broadway League and TDF, so I thank you for that. Any message, special message that you want to send out here in the middle of January, the beginning of 2020, to the folks out there who are looking to get into theater or produce or maybe take one of your workshops?
Well, take a look at the website, commercialtheatreinstitute.com. It gives you information on every course that we give. Take one to see if it really interests you, if the business really interests you. You know, it's a lot different getting into the business of this wonderful world than it is sitting in an audience. And so you've got to know whether this is for you or it isn't, and CTI will begin to teach you that. And the other thing is get to the theater. See a lot of theater.
I love it.
I just don't think there's any substitute for it. There's wonderful stuff going on, not only on Broadway, but all over off-Broadway, in the regions, on tour, in London. There's a lot of theater that you can see, and every chance you get a cheap ticket, go and see it.
Go see
Find out
theater,
what you
folks.
like.
Go see theater. Tom, Happy New Year. May 2020 be a phenomenal year for you personally, as well as
Thank you.
Broadway and the folks at in New York City who love theater and support theater. Thank you very much.
Thank you for taking the time to visit.
Oh, it's a pleasure to visit you. Take care, folks. Roger Gonzalez here with LocalTheatreNY.tv.